We're back on Country Pocket and on WUSB Stony Brook 90.1 FM. We're talking to Phil Cramer of Steele Creek, and the song you just heard was Tidewaters, which is definitely uh definitely a beautiful one. Tell me about the process of letting go and relaxing.
Well, thank you, first of all. And yeah, uh, letting go and relaxing can be a tough one for me. We talked in the first part of the conversation about, being sort of task oriented and wanting something to go and do and work hard at, that's really fulfilling to me. And I think it's part of the journey of this record is, yeah, trying to find a calm and quiet place inside, if not out in the world. But that does get manifested physically, out at the ocean side in tidewaters, which, to me, if there's any place that's going to put you in touch with the rhythms uh, of the earth and with a some kind of divine spirit, it's, man, it's sitting out there watching the watching the waves crash in, both like powerfully and indifferently. And it's one of those sort of the vastness of the universe moments for me, when I can um sit still in that moment. Anybody can walk by and say, oh, look, there's some waves and there's the ocean. And but if we can um, slow down enough, I think it can be, for me, it becomes, a moment where I feel most centered and rooted.
Yeah, I also wonder about the line, you know, being strong for everyone but yourself. I mean, do you feel like we sort of live in a world where that's the expectation or the norm, and you just sort of fall into that pattern and never realize, oh, wait, there's one other person I haven't been taking care of?
Mm, yeah, I think a lot of people do. And the song, it's not written about myself, but uh, uh, which I think is important to say. But yeah, I think we definitely fall into those patterns. And I think, this song to me is someone who's maybe um a little older, and looking back and seeing, the rhyme with that is, you've been working till there ain't nothing left, and kind of looking back and seeing, um, I've been working myself to the bone for years, and now, in order to support everybody else, and now, here I am, still trying to find that same peace and that same, uh, you know, um, that same sense of wholeness, that I think so many people are looking for. And yeah, I think like you said, I think a lot of us, I know I myself get too busy to remember to even look for that. Um, it's tricky within like the contemporary dialogue about self-care, which is very important. But I think also it's like not exactly what we're talking about here. I think we're talking about um uh finding wholeness, I think, is the cleanest way that I can say that.
Yeah, I've sort of picked up on how those waves lapping could both be a comforting thing and time passing and someone aging. Um, I guess the way I look at it is almost a retirement song. I don't think it's a death song. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it feels to me like this is a person who is figuring out they might need to retire.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, or they might be there and be, kind of dealing with um the wreckage of having worked so hard for so long, and what is left to enjoy at the end of that, and trying to find that, right? Trying to find that peace and that enjoyment. But yeah, I think we culturally we make it pretty hard for ourselves, But
Yeah, I'll also say that I feel as though even when I'm quote unquote relaxing, I'm relaxing by diving into a hobby hard. Uh, I guess
yeah.
I guess the way I'm starting to see it is if there's not much inner peace in my mind, I don't think I can have much inner peace in my schedule because you give yourself time to do nothing and that doesn't necessarily go well.
Right, right. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's funny the way you say that. I'm also I mean I agree and I hear you, and I'm also a fan of Wendell Berry, the poet, and he's fond of talking about how, in his opinion, we have work all wrong. That, work when done right and when it is something that is fulfilling, like really should feed your soul. That like we as creatures, like do want to work and want to be of use to our families and our communities. Um, and so when you said even when I slow down, I want to do a hobby, or, I guess my hope would be that the hobby itself is fulfilling, that it fills you up in a way. But I relate definitely to the other side of it as well of, um, yeah, when you slow down, all the thoughts flood in. They're all waiting for you. Um, I think there's a lot of moments like that on this record, a song like Serpent's Prayer, where it's, in the dark of the night, there it is. They're all waiting for you while you're lying awake.
Yeah, I guess FCC has me sort of handicapped at 3 songs from one record. Uh, but I have to ask about one line in one other song
Great,
because
let's do it.
you talk about a dream, of laying down in the current and creating a stepping stone for the next generation, and how this generation is going to step from stone to stone to stone. And I guess I'm just thinking that is such a beautiful thought until you realize that every other generation before has wound up lying down in the current to become a stone.
Sure. Yes. I hear that. Yeah. So the line is you can waste your life in worry. I have tried to stem the current to lay down like a stone inside the stream. Maybe, child, you can walk stone by stone to get across. It might not sound like much, but it's a dream. Um, and I
I
hear you.
worry that
Yeah.
I worry that the way life is set up, just the way society has us doing things, we're not raising people to get across the stream. We're raising people to become stones.
Mm, I hear that.
Whether or not we
Um,
want
yeah.
to, I don't think it's an individual's parent's decision. I just feel as though what we've built, we're creating stones and not creating a path that finally completes, you know, the journey across the river.
Yeah, I think we're making it hard for people to thrive, And I think we're not very good at being forward thinking right now as a collective. Um, but I wrote that part thinking specifically about like the um about facing, mental health struggles as a parent, about, that idea of you can waste your life in worry. I don't find anxiety to be a terribly poetic word, so but that, having had my own struggles with mental health and anxiety in particular, and and then looking, yeah, at my son and wanting him, first of all, not to face those same problems. Of course, every parent would like their child not to have those same problems, but also knowing that problems will come because we're human, and we are all dealing with our own struggles and our own issues, and um and wanting for him to be able to learn from what I've been through, and to be able to, at the very least, you want them to be able to grow from the point that you left off, that, like, hey, I started out with only this much awareness about um, anxiety, or about how my mind works, or about how, I can spin myself in circles. And I hope that you, my son, can at least have, the benefit of that learning that I've tried to do over my life, to, be more self-aware, to be able to navigate through those currents. Um, and that's what I hear what you're saying, but that's what I meant when I was saying, laying down like a stone in the stream, was like, please, walk across my back, because I want you to learn from where I've been.
Yeah, I think my interpretation, or my dread, sort of shows you that as much as I've learned about anxiety, I don't completely have it under control.
Oh, me neither. I mean, I think that's part of the self-knowledge about it, right? Is like knowing that we're always going to be um dealing with it and navigating it, and um finding our way through.
Oh, Bill, thanks so much for coming on the show. I just want to wrap up by having you choose a song by any other artist that you think fits well into our conversation about tasks and anxiety and relaxation today.
Okay, I've got one. Um, I would pick John Moreland, who's one of my favorite contemporary songwriters and singers out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He just came out with a new album that is just fabulous. But I would pick an older song of his, and it's called "Losing Sleep Tonight," which maybe fits in pretty well with this conversation. But he has a line in the chorus where he says, "Are you worried that you're happier at war than at peace?" And I feel like in these moments, all that stuff we talked about with Ridgeline at the beginning, that question is just ringing in the back of my head. Yes, John, I'm worried that I'm happier at war than at peace. And he has that way of just crafting lines that cut right through you like that. So that'd be my pick.
Phil Cramer, Steel Creek, the new album is Towards the Light. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Trevor. It's great to be back.